Hello, everybody, and welcome to Power Talk. I'm your host, BeanBagz, and with me is my co-host, NastyNupe. Man, how you doing, Nupe?
Doing great, yo yo.
All right. And as always, this episode of Power Talk is brought to you in part by Madden School, your one-stop shop for Madden ebooks, the best source for Madden ebooks out there. That's MaddenSchool.com. And right now, if you use promo code DA Dynasty, you will get 20% off their unlimited package for 1 year. For 1 year, you get all access to everything they've got. Any playbooks, any tips, anything they got, offense, defense, they got it all. They usually, by the end of the year, man, they have every single team's playbook broken down with nothing but the best plays from each playbook. So go ahead and get on that. That's DA Dynasty for 20% off. All right, so today what we're going to be talking about, we are ranking the top five teams that we, as the media team, decided were the top five Super Bowl ready teams right out of the box. These teams, we looked at the users that's controlling them and the rosters on each team. So right out the gate, no roster adjustments, no trades, nothing. Without looking at any of that, these five teams are the most Super Bowl ready teams out there. So we're going to go ahead and roll right into that, counting down from number 5, going all the way down to number 1. All right, so as our little graphic there starts to show, we are going to go ahead and start this, kicking off with number 5, controlled by Kappa KSU. That's the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, so the Kansas City Chiefs, man, this team coming in with quarterback Alex Smith, wide receiver Jeremy Maclin, and running back Jamal Charles, a three-headed monster right there, right out the box, man. What do you think about this team, Newt?
For me, this team is based on defense. When I looked at this team, the first thing I looked at was defense. This defense is stacked. You have Dontarian Poe, Derek Johnson, Tamba Ali. You have Marcus Peters holding down the corner over there as a rookie last year, tied for leading the league last year in interceptions. And if they can get Eric Berry signed, that adds one more piece to that defense. I look at the offense. I see it as a mediocre offense, but if Kappa KSU can get them moving, he can do a little bit with them. But I'm depending on him, or thinking that he will depend on his defense to get him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever I looked at this defense, out of all the teams in this top 5, I feel like this is the most balanced defense between all 5 teams, from the D-line all the way back to the secondary. It's got good players everywhere. And I think with Travis Kelce and Jamal Charles, this team is going to really suit how Kappa KSU likes to play. I know he likes to utilize his tight end a lot, and I know he likes to run the ball a good bit. So I think this team just really fits his play style well. So I think that's what got him here at the number 5 spot. It's a guy that we haven't seen in a while, but if you remember, he went to back-to-back Super Bowl appearances in Dynasty right out the box. So, I wouldn't be surprised if he found his way there coming in season 1. He may need to get a couple pieces on offense to really to get there, but that defense, I think, is really going to hold true all season long.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be honest. When I voted, I had the Chiefs much higher than number 5 on my list. So I thought they're either a number 1 or a number 2 team on this list.
I mean, I could see it, but I mean, if you look at the other teams on this list, they got some powerful offenses out there, and I think that's kind of where all the other teams all the other guys voting looked at was offense. So I mean, I myself am a defense guy like you. That's why I mean, seeing that some of these rankings, everyone kind of differed here and there. So it was a very tough. I mean, I think I had a list of about 13 teams that everyone had put in their top 5. So it was kind of hard to find the top 5. All right, but we're gonna go ahead.
I say I can agree with you on that.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move right along here. This team, number 4. This team is controlled by SJ, and I think this team suits him better than his Pittsburgh Steelers did last season, and that's going to be the Arizona Cardinals. He likes that high-powered offense. He's got Larry Fitzgerald. He's got Carson Palmer. He's got David Johnson in the backfield, and then his defense is very. I mean, I think he's got to get some more pieces on defense, especially in like the linebacking core. But he's got a team that he can really work with. But I definitely think it fits the way he likes to play a lot better than those Steelers did.
Oh yes. Just the other day, I played against a user who was using the Cardinals, and it seemed like no matter what I did, Fitzgerald was getting open. So you can tell the difference in 17 versus 16. Route running is very important, and having old man Larry Fitzgerald on the team should open a lot of stuff up for him, and especially with that running game with David Johnson. He's going to be a tough team to handle come 17.
Yeah, that NFC West is going to be pretty heavy, coming right out the box. So we actually have one more team in this list from that division. So it's a pretty stout division there. So he's got his work cut out for him. But if he can manage that division, I think he could really find himself deep in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So coming out of that division, I kind of think that the Cards are gonna come out of that division the first season. So
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. But all right, we're gonna move right along here, moving kind of fast here today, just trying to get this out there to you guys. This little top five list. All right, you want to talk about a guy who had nothing and did something with it? Now he has something, so he is going to do something with it. This team coming at number 3, controlled by Indy Jones, the Carolina Panthers. I know he likes to utilize his quarterback's footwork. I know he likes to run the ball a lot, and he's got a team he can do that with the Carolina Panthers. He's got Cam Newton, Jonathan Stewart, and then Kelvin Benjamin. And then you got tight end Greg Olson, who is probably one of the best tight ends in the game right now. So I mean, and then on defense he's got Luke Kuechly, who if you've seen him play defense, he likes to roam, and Kuechly's a guy who can do that. Or he could go the other route, let Kuechly do his thing, control somebody else, and trust that he's got somebody to stop the run. So, I mean, he's definitely got a team that fits his style here.
yeah, I think of all the teams on the list, this is probably the most balanced team between the offense and the defense. So he's starting in a good position. Having Benjamin on the team and back in the fold this season should help him out. I think the weak spot on the offense at this point is probably at the running back position. So if at some point he can get that going throughout the season, he should be able to get to the Super Bowl just based off of that. Having Superman in the backfield doesn't help hurt either. So uh, he should have a good season.
Absolutely, and I mean, if he can get Jonathan Stewart up and running, he'll be okay. But he's definitely going to have to look to over the next few seasons look for another option at halfback. But other than that, that offense is pretty good, and I think he's going to really like that, and he's going to really utilize that, and it's really up to you and him in that division this season. You controlling the Falcons, him the Panthers. So I mean, I'm leaning on you to stop him, so I don't have to play him in the Super Bowl whenever I make it there.
That might be kind of hard this first season, man. You have a lot of holes in Atlanta to fill. So
Yeah, I feel you, man. I got a little bit of work to do myself. But so that's number 3. That is Black Panther, aka Indy Jones, the Panthers. So we look to him to being one of the top teams in the NFC coming right out the box. So that's number 3. Moving right along here, getting down to number 2, and most of us have played this guy already, and he really showed his dominance day one right out the box with the Pittsburgh Steelers team. That's right. Number 2 coming in is the Steelers. He really, being such a fresh game, and for him to come in and the guys he's played already with this team in a friendly, he's proven that he is going to be a force to reckon with, the top team in the AFC according to this list. This is Dat Boy Good with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's got the three-headed beast in Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown, and Le'Veon Bell, and you cannot forget about Martavis Bryant. It's a beast of a team, and his linebacking core in Shazier and Lawrence Timmons. I mean, he's going to be really tough to beat.
yeah, when I was looking at this team doing my research for the show, I wasn't that afraid of his defense. I'll be honest. Outside of Sazier, there was nobody on the defense that I was like, "Ooh, I'm shaking in my boots." So I'm thinking that he's gonna have to put up a lot of points, and he's gonna have to outscore a lot of teams, man, with his defense. So uh, I think he can do it because he has a high-powered offense. So I think that'll be how he gets to the Super Bowl if he gets there. It will not be through defense.
Yeah, I can agree with that. One of the things I did notice whenever I played him is he's gonna have to broaden his playbook just a little bit, get a couple more heavy hitting offensive plays, because it seemed whenever I played him he had about three or four that he really heavily relied on in the third and long situation or the must score situations. If he can get a couple more there, he's really going to be hard to beat. And then defensively, I noticed that he is probably one of the best hit stick users I've played so far. Definitely forces a lot of fumbles. You got to hold on to the rock whenever you play him. You can get yards. You can march down the field on him, but you have to not drop the rock, because if you do, he's going to make you pay right back on the next drive of that offense.
You'll lose a lot of sleep over that offense. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I would not look forward to playing him in that division, which is going to be a tough division. So, but uh, I believe he'll run that division the first 3 or 4 seasons. To be honest with you, till
I could
everybody gets up to speed.
I could see that. Definitely see that, especially if he beefs up that defense a little bit. Yeah, for sure. All right, so that was number 2, Dat Boy Good. So far, we have Kappa KSU coming at 5. We have SJ Fresco Bomb, and the Cardinals coming in at 4. We have Black Panthers, Indy Jones, with the Carolina Panthers coming at 3. And then we just talked about it, Dat Boy Good, with the Steelers coming in at number 2. So far, these four guys, very, very talented users. 2 of them were featured in our top 10 users list. They got teams to go with it now. So, these 4 guys, do not be surprised if these guys are in the Super Bowl. And then now coming in at number 1, this guy had the Kansas City Chiefs. He really came on late last year, but now he's got the Seattle Seahawks, and that team is beautiful. They got some work to do as far as on the offensive side of the ball. I think they need to get another halfback. They might want to get another like a wide receiver or 2 to kind of fill some holes. They got Javon Curse and Baldwin there. You might want to get one more good option at wide receiver. But that defense, you want to talk about a secondary. Listen to these names, man. Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, and Richard Sherman. That is going to be tough.
Yes, yes. And you didn't even mention the linebacking core, Wright or Wagner and Wright. So
Right there, too.
it's gonna be tough. But when I was looking at this team, also the offensive line is very suspect, and there's no beast mode in the backfield anymore, so they're dependent on Thomas Rawls. So I'd like to see how that works out for him this season, and to see if he's going to be able to keep Russell Wilson off his back. Uh, because if I play him, I'm bringing that pressure, and I'm sure that other teams are going to look for that weakness as well as in the offensive line. So here's another team that's going to probably rely heavily on their defense to get them to the championship game.
Yeah, for sure. And, he, like you said, he's got some work to do with that offensive line. If you get pressure on him, Russell Wilson can use his feet, but I don't think I've seen Fellowcraft be the type of guy to, move around with the quarterback a lot. So we'll see how he adjusts there, what he does there. And he's definitely got to get somebody. I don't think he can really rely on Rawls all that much. But, that defense, I think, is going to win him a lot of games this season. It's going to be really him and SJ in that NFC West. And I think it's going to come down to, the division record. I think, they're both going to, I'm looking at probably a 10-6, 11-5 season for both these guys. And it's going to come down to division record and then just how well they play in the playoffs. Both these guys, are very talented, so it's going to be interesting matchups to watch them play each other. But I mean, it's going to be a good year, I think.
I also agree too. And then just still speaking about the Seahawks, I'm thinking, man, they're primed for these first 2 or 3 seasons to win a Super Bowl. If you don't win a Super Bowl in these first 3 seasons, it's almost a waste because at some point you're gonna have to break up this team because of contracts.
Yeah.
So the clock is ticking, the pressure is on his back, and we got to see if he can carry that pressure on his back to get this ring in these first 3 seasons.
some people look at the younger teams, the teams that need building, and say, oh, it's going to take a good GM to do that. It's really going to take a good GM to take these Seahawks, a team that's not going to be together for a while, to be able to get guys that can come in underneath those guys and be ready to play once they're gone. If he can do that over the next 3 years, man, I think he's actually going to be there for a while. But if he can't manage that kind of money, if he can't, find the youth that he needs, I think after about 3 seasons, he's going to be a very middle of the pack team. So it's really on Fellowcraft's GM ability there if you want longevity in Seattle.
Yeah, because this is gonna be a long Madden, so
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
you start planning out 4 or 5 seasons out. Start looking for those replacements in the draft and free agency and other places like that.
All right. So this has been your top 5. Kappa KSU at 5. SJ Fresh Program at 4. Black Panther at 3. Dat Boy Good at 2. And then Fellowcraft coming in at number 1 as voted by the media team. Looking at both offense and defense and the user who's controlling them, how well they fit their style. And this is kind of what we came up with. Now, I'm going to ask you a question here. We didn't talk about this before, but what are certain teams you are surprised are not in this list?
Oh,
Or what's your, like, what are some sleeper teams? Give me some of your sleeper teams that weren't mentioned here.
I believe one sleeper team could be the Texans. I believe you have a great defense. I played you online a couple of days ago, and you were getting constant pressure. And I think you're developing that offense, so you could also be in this conversation as well. I think it came down to you between you and Kappa KSU for that fifth spot. So Kappa KSU won out, but you could also be in this list as well. And looking at maybe the Jags, but they're still young. Uh, if he knew how to manipulate and scheme real good, he possibly could make this list as well. So those are probably two sleeper teams that I could have on the list.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like me personally. I don't know if my team's ready to be there. I got some work to do. But with the Jags, I've watched him play, and he really uses them really well. He knows what he's doing with that team. And I look forward to our matchups together, but it's going to be some tough matchups. One team I'm surprised that actually I didn't really see very many people mention at all was the Cowboys. And the reason why is the guy that controls them and the way he likes to play. He's got that offensive line. He likes to be the power team, and with Ezekiel Elliott back there, and I mean he's got some pieces to build on defense. But I think if he can get his offensive game right, I mean, I played him the other night. He's got to work on his run game, but his timing on his routes with Des Bryant, Witten, and Terrence Williams and Tony Romo, I mean, he's looking pretty good there. If he can find some running plays that he can utilize, man, I could see him over either this season or over the next 3 seasons really getting a ring before Romo retires. That's a pretty good team there that I really didn't see mentioned much. So I mean that was kind of my sleeper team. One of the teams I was thinking about whenever I asked you that question. I was very surprised to not really see him mentioned much.
I think most people forget about the Cowboys because they lack defense. So it's not like one of the teams that will be at the front of your mind just because they lack defense or they lack that high powered offense. They don't have Des Bryant is there, but he's not a Brown.
Yeah.
He's not that type of receiver. So I think that's why, which might benefit him in the long run because if everybody's sleeping on him, he can sneak up on everybody. So that could work out in his benefit. So, but let me ask you a question, man. If you had to bet the house and the farm and everything on this top 5 list, out of which one is going to actually hold the Dynasty Trophy at the end of this first season, who are you going with?
If I had to bet the house, and I mean, I'm between 2 teams here. I'm between Dat Boy Good.
No, no, you can only have one.
I'm
Bet
just
the farm right now.
I'm just
Bet the
think
farm.
I'm just thinking out loud. I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm between 2 teams though. Only because I haven't seen him perform in the playoffs. I'm not gonna choose Indy Jones and the Black Panther and Carolina Panthers. I'm gonna go with Dat Boy Good, just because I've seen him play already. I think he expect with seeing him play with that team if I had to bet the house, and if I had to pick the safest bet I could possibly do, I'm gonna go with the Steelers.
Okay.
What about you, man? What team would you put your house on?
I'll probably have to co-sign with you and go with the Steelers this season. Just because of that high-powered offense, man. And just playing the other day, he almost looks unstoppable. But it's hard to compare the two of playing online versus playing in franchise mode because in franchise mode, players will get injured. So that changes up the whole dynamic of a team. And can
Absolutely.
you hold the fort down while those players are on the injured reserve list or whatever? So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. I'm excited and I'm ready. I put my scheme in Atlanta, so
How you looking over there, man? How you liking the team?
not too good. I'm figuring this first season, if we can go 8-8, I will be happy. I will be happy just to keep my team confidence at no less than 50. I'll be happy to be honest with
I got you. I got you.
you. My defense is horrible.
All right, all right. Well, guys, this has been Power Talk. Kind of wanted to sit down and give you guys this list that we all came up with. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. As always, remember that this is sponsored by Madden School. 20% off with DA Dynasty off that unlimited package. Like I said, best ebooks out there for Madden. Get on that if you're really looking to take your game to the next level. But also, another sponsor. This was our very first sponsor, like the number one sponsor in the world. We're talking about Uncle D's Buffalo Sauce. I mean, are you tired of flavorless wings? All you gotta do is put a little Uncle D's in your mouth. That's it. Get you some Uncle D's buffalo sauce. Once you see it hit shelves, man, it tastes good. Trust me, I've tried it. But anyways, this has been Power Rankings. I've been your host, BeanBagz. This has been my co-host, NastyNupe.
Yo, yo.
And we are out.